passion is showing, it's showing. But yeah, we keep going and going. But it's family forever. We've done it over and over. We have reached the end. How do we get through life? Do we have to fight? Outwake ourselves, spark the willing night. Maybe we can redefine what it means to get in time. Now we take the chance to fight the fight we seek. We can make a getaway. Understand this the end. Maybe we can break away. Here we stand. Run away before we surrender. Run away before we surrender. We can make a getaway. Understand this the end. Maybe we can break away. Here we stand. Run away before we surrender. We can make a getaway. Understand this the end. Maybe we can break away. Here we stand. Run away before we surrender. Run away before we surrender.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is Sunday evening, which means it's time to round out the Misfits Racing League action for the week. This week, of course, we've been taking to Kota here in the USA, and joining me for Formula 2 action, as always, is Mr. Alex Bitter. Alex, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
Hello, Unicorn and everybody. Very, very good, actually. Very, very good. Very excited to see these drivers again. here on USA as we saw all week on F1, but this time, of course, with the F2s.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a brilliant week of racing so far here at the Circuit of the Americas. 20 turns, 2 DRS straights, and plenty of overtaking opportunities in the F1 car. Plenty of opportunities to go side by side, and I can only imagine what that means here in the slightly smaller, slightly slower F2 cars, which we see go side by side in places that we don't always see it in the F1 cars, which means I think Sector 1 is going to be a bit more lively. Maybe that will make it a bit more incident prone. We don't know. Obviously, a community race, anything could happen here. We've got a lot of fast drivers on the grid. I could see at least a couple of tier 1 drivers here, as well as drivers from all across the MRL divisions, as well as just a few people who are hopping in here from the community. But always a very interesting way to round out the week of Misfits Racing League action. And as always, before we get started, a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, wheel stand, motion sim, that kind of thing, be sure to check them out in the link in the description to head on over to their website. They're doing brilliant things for the sim racing community, so it would really mean a lot if you went and checked them out over there. With that being said, we're actually slightly early. We've got about just under a minute until we kick things off here at the USA. Alex Domi, the guy who organises this, drives in a lot of the races, didn't seem too confident about how the F2 cars are handling around here. You've driven around here, I think, in an F2 car. What are the challenges that, Kota presents to an F2 car versus an F1?
Well, of course, the lack of downforce, I think, on Sector 1 will be very, very important, and as well on Sector 3 on that triple right-hander, 16, 17, and 18. There can be really difficult, and you have to even leave there the throttle in order to put the car where you want. And of course, a very, very difficult track on F1 there to nail, not having any warnings. Of course, going slower on F2 probably can be easier to not pick up penalties. But I think even with that, as I said, the lack of downforce can really be a major factor to play with.
Well, we'll see how the drivers deal with it. I do believe we've got 17 drivers here this evening for Formula 2. You can hear the countdown going over there. Everyone is readying up, and we will be going racing here. Obviously, before we do hit the feature race and, of course, the sprint race after that, we do have one shot qualifying to determine the grid order for that first feature race before we head on over to the shorter sprint race with that reversed grid dynamic. One thing as well we haven't seen is too much rain this week. We've seen it a little bit. It's been here and there. Let's see what happens here this evening. We're just loading in. Very dark screen with that loading symbol in the top left. It's not particularly cloudy. There's a few clouds in the sky, but won't be raining in qualifying. Whether we see anything in the race, that's completely different, of course. And it's crazy to think, Alex, that we've only really got a month of this before we won't be doing any more F2 races in this game. We'll be moving over to 2021. It's been a very fast season despite the length and 4 rounds to go. I don't know how close we are to wrapping up the F2 championship, but a lot of the other championships are being wrapped up elsewhere across the MRL division. And, I imagine it's no different here for the F2 drivers. Obviously a little bit different in the way it's monitored, but it is still tracked. And it's JA Games who the game's put us with, so the man who was alongside me in the commentary booth this morning. Everyone but Babatunde, who's on the medium. Everyone else on the super soft compound tyres will follow along with JA Games as he comes down up in the hill into turn 1. A bit of a slide through there. He was telling everyone in the APAC division this morning how they had to be careful there, keep it clean. And then we saw 3 cars pile into each other. So hopefully for the Brit in the high-tech GP car for the evening, he can do something similar. Coming through Sector 1, and he's all the way down in 15th place at the moment, just behind Linus. And there we go. You can see Jay actually hopping up. A little bit of a tussle there between the bottom few runners. As always, they will stay on board with whoever it gives us unless they have a major incident. That means their lap time will be completely uncompetitive. But JA so far, not a bad lap from him. Just sort of getting the car around, having no issues. He did see him have that slide out of turn 1. That will have cost him a little bit. Neon currently the driver on the top of the timing tower. Scars, Brainstew, they're exchanging for P2. And Brainstew, if there was a man I had to put money on who I thought was going to win this championship. Brainstew just seems to have stuck out at the top for quite some weeks here in F2, but JA Games is the one we're watching now as he comes through into turn 15. Very wide entrance to get that late apex there. And like you say, now coming into the triple right-hander, 16 into 17 for that late apex at 18. And again, pretty wide through there. Just trying to carry as much speed through into the penultimate corner for the high-tech driver. Scars, well, he's retired. And it's Brainstew now. And he's stuck at the top of the timing tower. And he comes across the line first. It's Brainstew ahead of Ace, who just pips his fellow countryman Neon to the post. Back row 4th. Freeware 5th. Coffee Sipper starts 6th ahead of Mark. Larson in 8th. Eric in 9th. And Linus rounds out the top 10 with JA Games, who we've run on board with here, getting the 11th fastest lap. Babatunde starts 12th. And he's qualified on the medium tyres. So we'll see how that plays into things in the later stages of the evening.
That's really, really interesting, yeah, to qualify on mediums. I have never seen that. Well, I have seen that, but on the full qualifying, 30 minutes. Not on one shot, so Brainstew will be taking pole position with those 4 points there that, of course, the game gives you for doing those efforts. Ace and Neon will be following him, and then back row, Freeware 1 second off the pace against the Italian. And then Coffee Sipper, Mark, Lars, and Eric, and Linus will be the top 10.
Well, here we go. You know, Brainstew once again picking up those 4 points. It's not something we are unused to seeing. He does it quite frequently here in F2. He seems to have mastered these cars, and as such, it just really has been an impressive run of form for him. No one else seems to have got it quite down as well as he has. Obviously, everyone else practicing more for the F1 results throughout the week on the tiered divisions, and well, it's just, you know, been an incredible run from him. He's actually P2 in the standings. Just picked them up here. 321 points he's picked up so far. He's behind Maka, and he's another driver who's been very impressive as well. And those two are clear ahead at the top. Maka on 351 points. Brainstew on 321. So those are the two drivers that are gunning for, well, to take your title, Alex, as F2 World Champion. As we get in here for the Americas race. We won't have a formation lap, or at least we shouldn't. We did have one last week, but it is lights out and away we go, and it's Brainstew versus Ace off the line. But Neon, what a great start. He's had straight through the middle of both drivers here. An excellent start for the Dutchman. His fellow countryman there just behind him, having to slot in. Brainstew very wide through turn 1. And it's Neon ahead of Ace, ahead of Brainstew here at the start of things. Brainstew looking... He's behind Ace. Ace on those medium tires. We've got a little bit of a difference in tire choice. It's only Neon and Brainstew on these super soft compounds here, as we've got a lot of drivers. Scars, Babatunde, they're side by side as they come up. Oh yeah, Domi with a huge crash. He's coming into contact with, I think that was Angel there.
Yeah, I think it was Angel. Domi lost it there on the high speed on the right-hander just before ending sector 1, and well, he lost it completely. He has damage, I think, on that front end. The Hungarian will not be happy about that performance there on first lap. Babatunde and Williams having an exchange, as well as Brainstew very close on Ace Ritchie. He's on the back straight there. He has the slipstream. He's on the super softs. He needs to really catch Neon, who's leading on the same strategy. There's a little bit of contact there. Brainstew on the outside. Ace will try to be the late braking there on the inside part of that turn 12. Very good instruction, the Italian, who just squeezes a little bit the Dutch, and they're still side by side. Now entering sector 3, Brainstew will be just ahead, but we'll see if Ace wants to give back that overtake, but no, he will be there on 3rd place, and Brainstew right now trying to catch Neon.
Yeah, you saw in the background there, Freeware busting his way past Backrow, who's now found himself in the wall. Miraculously, no damage there. But my goodness, he's lucky. Meanwhile, we've got Linus side by side with Lars, and these two going at it for the lower end of the points, and importantly, that 8th position as well. Obviously, this being the feature race, there is a mandatory pit stop here. In the feature race, it won't be the case in the sprint, but here they do have to pit at least once after lap 3. So any pit stops now will not count. Eric now climbing up the hill on Coffee Sipper, and they are going wheel to wheel down into turn 1. He hasn't quite got this move done convincingly yet, and he is past there, the Carlin driver. The Coffee Sipper, the Dutchman. It's going to even need to be a Dutchman. We've got Neon, Ace, and who's this having a problem behind? It's Angel.
this is very lucky for him. He had that contact with Domi, I think we saw on lap 1, and on lap 2 I think he lost traction on first corner. Very difficult to put it on F1. Just imagine on F2, and he's struggling with that damage on the front end. It seems like the Toros driver is not having a big time right now. Coffee Sipper right now very close on the back of the Spaniard. Eric on P5. I don't know if he will try something on the exit of 11 going down into turn 12, Unicorn.
Well, there we go, the Dutchman on the rear of the Spaniard, and it's 3/10 the gap. The top 5 already thinning out. Scars, JA Games, they exchange. JA very slow coming out of turn 11. Wondered if they went side by side through there. Back up to Coffee Sipper though, hunting down Eric here for P5 up the inside, down into turn 12, and there goes the car lane. He's a little bit deep though. Eric looking for the switchback, and the Spaniard in the Uni Virtuosi looking to sweep around the outside at turn 13, just finding traction. Coffee Sipper leaves just enough from him, finds enough from him, and Eric loses traction and finds himself facing the Rolex barrier on the inside there of turn 14, and he will not be happy with that one. And who is that? It's Freeware. Freeware. He's going very, very slowly.
And Larson went really wide on the exit of 17 and 18 there on the triple right-hander. He really lost the car at the back end, but he slid there into the ideal line now, holding that P7, but it was very, very scary as DRS is enabled right now, but the gaps on front are still huge. More than 1 second there, but Mark, they're really, really close on the back of that Carling. Linus having a very good job there on those mediums, as well, almost all of the grid, as exception Neon, Brinsteel, and Domi, who is right now on those super softs trying to go to the end. Of course, he pitted for damage.
Yeah, here we go. Mark a little bit deep through turn 2, coming into turn 3, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time. To the Dutchman ahead, JA Games. He's going to lose another position as they come through sector 1. Four-door sedan just finds a way through, and that's a very, very nicely done move by the Campos racing driver for the evening. Hopping back up to a few positions up the grid. Larson, he's sort of sandwiched. He could be attacking Mark here, but he could also find himself under pressure from Scars behind in the Dams car as they come through turn 11. Let's see, DRS is enabled now. It's the first run we're going to get down this back straight with the rear wings opening. Scars looks like he's got a pretty decent run on Larson. It looks like he lagged back there a little bit as they fly down towards turn 12. Let's see what they have in store for us. Mark has a great look at Linus. Is a bit late into the corner though. Can Larson carry more speed through Neon? Neon's had an issue. He's spun as he got damage on that car. It doesn't look like he is. He's missing a left end plate. And the Dutchman, well, his luck, Alex, has been pretty subpar over the last few weeks. He has found himself in quite a few incidents, and now is no different. Mark Larson, little bit of contact there between the two, and they've got Scars looking at this, and in the back, you can see Bubba Tunde just straight into the wall. Do we see a VSC? Do we see a safety car from that? It doesn't look like we will.
Oh, yes, there is.
Well, there it is.
There's something. It's a safety car. And, oof, this driver's not pitting. They have the possibility to do that. Neon pitted just before that safety car was parked. And, well, Neon had a very good strategy there. Of course, everyone is with the Delta, so... Oh, no, they catch the safety car, I think. Or, no, that's Brinsteel on the lead. The safety car not catched by the leader. So still they will have the Delta there on this lap 4. So Neon will not have that huge advantage, but it's still an advantage. Well, he will have to change that front wing, though. And that will cost some a couple of seconds there, changing to the mediums, of course, trying to do the normal strategy to go to the end. And well, he will drop right now places, but I think he will gain back some there after that. And not only that, but only him and Brinsteel started this race with the super soft, and a lot of drivers with the mediums will try to stretch that second stint, which will be with the super soft, it seems, to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine, you know, Brainstew probably going to find his way into the pit lane. You would think at the end of this one, although we've been switched off of his car for some reason, down to 4-door, I think that was. Or even Neon, down to 13th. But Brainstew, this could play into his hands very nicely, should he come out in front of the likes of Neon. Super Soft's getting to the end, it won't feel great. We'll see what the Italian does, though, here. He should be able to pit with relative ease. Obviously, he'll lose a fair few positions given the safety car, but at the same time, he'll get those back when everyone else has to serve their mandatory stops. It's interesting, though. Alex, do you expect people here to come in for the Super Soft to try and take them to the end, or do you think that's just, you know, too early?
They have to. Even if... Oh, Larson spun. Well, I don't really know what happened there. Larson just DNF there on the exit of 12. I don't know if he had some car there blocking his way. but probably he spawned there into the wall. It seems like that most likely. But yeah, it's the second DNF on this race, two back-to-back laps. Lap 3 and 4, Babatunde and Larsen right now. As the leaders pit, Ace will pit. And as I was gonna tell to you, these drivers have to pit at least to risk it, because otherwise they will have to be... Well, so it seems like it's only Richie who is... Is Richie right now pitting there for the super subs. He will try to stretch them, but of course the risk of puncture will be very high, and even more with these corners on USA, which have a lot of stress. As you can see on Sector 3 with that triple right-hander, of course, and the Sector 1 with all that SS there through, well, of course, the first stage of that lap.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how everything goes. So you got to say Brain Stew, he's looking like he's in the best place out of everyone. He's got the pace. Now he's got the strategy to boot. With mediums to the end, they should make this fairly comfortably for that Uni-Virtuo. I see Neon's down in 10th place, but he's on this strategy too, having had to replace that front wing. Eric picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. He's in the other Uni-Virtuo OC, which is obviously in that alternate color scheme the Uni-Virtuo OCs have, but Brainstew here in the black decam with the yellow paint. And
I was thinking about the strategy, which can probably... Oh, it might be very risky though, but I'm thinking about if Ace can pit again for a new set of mediums, even though those mediums will be used, will be the sprint set of mediums. Probably he can pit for those mediums, waste those mediums right now, and on the sprint race, use the used mediums of the first stint of the future. So he can go to the end on the sprint race, and he can go to the end on the future race as well. I don't know if that can be a thing on the strategy, or the game will select for the sprint race the most used set, the most wear on those mediums. I really don't know what will try the driver right now on P6. But of course, I think the most simple thing he can do right now, and of course to keep that track position, can be trying to go with those super softs to the end, which I think it may be. J Games trying to do the same, and it's really difficult to know what to do. Of course, Brainstew has a very good strategy, and that's why you normally like want to go on the first stint with the softer compounds. So if the safety car is on the early stages of the race, you can really put the harder and try to go to the end. And if you do the reverse strategy, you're on risk on this happening. Scar's faking a pit entry, it seems. They're on P4, will stay still on track. And it's a very interesting strategy for the drivers.
yeah, surprised that, you know, Scars did that. JA Games, he's come into the pits here. And this safety car has already been out for a fair few laps. It's a long safety car that we're seeing there. Obviously, we've seen a lot of pit stops. The grid was fairly spaced out, and then we had a retirement under the safety car. Obviously, this was caused by Babatunde crashing out. And now Larsen has spun out of the safety car as well. JA Games, well, I don't know if he's listening, Alex. He might be. He might be one of those drivers who likes to have the stream on in the background. And, well, maybe your insight there has inspired JA here to hop onto the medium tyres and go to the end here a little bit more comfortably than he would have done on those super softs. He does like to cycle tyres anyway. You know, it's a strategy he uses in F1 league races. We'll see whether it works out for him here. He is now last on track, but of course there are still, you know, 6-7 drivers that have to pit before the end of this race. Maybe 8 if Ace Richie can't make it, but his safety car, it's lasted a long time. It should, though, be in at the end of this lap, and Green Flag Racing will hopefully resume on lap 7. If you're just joining us, welcome in. This is the Misfits F2 community race. It's always how we round up our weeks here at the Misfits Racing League. This week it's been Kota here in the USA, and next week it will, of course, be Mexico for the... Well, there's 3 rounds to go. Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. If you're enjoying the stream, please do whack a like on it. It really does help us out. And make sure you're subscribed for all of our videos, as well as other live streams that we do here on the YouTube channel. Massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. Check them out in the link in the description down below if you're looking for a sim racing rig or wheel stand, that kind of thing. And also just a big shout out to you guys for watching and supporting the stream. It really does mean a lot. As there it is, race control, safety car in this lap. It's Coffee Sipper ahead of his teammate Linus, who will be leading the charge. The two Carlins now ready and waiting. I don't think we've seen Coffee Sipper lead a safety car restart. There's a bit of shuffling further down the grid as everyone gets backed up, but it's all eyes on the two Carlins, decked out in a very similar livery to the Red Bull F1 cars, given that main title sponsor. But there he goes. The Dutchman is away, and we are back to green flag racing, and we will be when he crosses the start-finish line coming out of turn 20. And you've got to be composed around here. It looks like Scars has a good run on Mark out of the final corner. Freeware, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Further down, you can see here, there's a lot of cars coming down into turn 1. No one really going for a move. Ace Ritchie on the super soft compound tires gets past Brainstew, and he needed to do that quickly, and he does.
And he's catching rare Scars.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, they're side by side. Oh, amazing race action there between Scars and Richie, who's just ahead. Just look at the grip of the super soft. It seems like the AI is on 0 level, and right now he's up into P3. 3 overtakes in one sector now for the Dodge driver, and he's trying to catch both Carlins there, who are right now on 1-2 positions. We have a yellow flag, and it seems like it's Eric on the Univirtuosi having a spin. Scars and Mark still side by side going into turn 11. Scars braking really late, and Mark will try the switchback on 11, but he has a big snap, and Brinsley will try to catch that Prema Racing car just ahead. He has the slipstream of both, and Scars giving the slipstream there to Mark as Richie goes one place ahead. It's P2 right now for the Dutch driver, and Linus dropping one place there on the Carling. We have an exchange there on the back as well.
And Neon, he's going to get past here as they go
that?
down, and that's very, very late on the brakes. So Arnell and Scars there. Going super slowly. Oh, and there is Arnell on the apex. Runs into the rear of Neon. And this is very close. Wheel-to-wheel racing. You see there behind Domi, Fordor, they're side by side. Scars swings up the inside of Arnell here. We've got a lot of action. Fordor, Domi, they're side by side.
Here come the struggle for Scars. I think they're on the fast right-hander with that damage. Oh, who's there? Is Mark going wide there? Yeah, is Mark going wide there on the second to last corner? Nia will take that. He jumps into P5 with a very good strategy as Brainstew is. Back row and Angel right now side by side. I think they're both teammates. No, it's Trident versus Cyrus. And right now Domi with the double slipstream with Trident turn 1, I think. Yes, he's looking there. He's looking on the inside. He will take both of them. Yes, he will. He's jumping into P8. I don't know. Still there side by side, and Angel having a better traction. Brewer as well on the back, trying to get back row. There's a little bit of contact barrow on settling the car, forcing wide the German, who's there is for doors to down.
Oh, Brewer into the wall, a massive hit for the German, and I'm amazed that he's still in this race. And does he have any damage at all to show for that crash? That was a huge impact into the wall.
I don't think he has damage.
That is incredible. As Brainstew now looking for Linus. It's not been the greatest start for either of the Carlin drivers. They've been passed, well, by Ace. And now, of course, Brainstew going to hunt down the Dutchman. Obviously, Ace right now has a huge tire advantage. He just needs to make sure that he gets those tires to the end of the race. Mark on the rear of Scars. Domi behind them. He gets past Angel. But it's Mark and Scars going side by side through turn 12. Scars, he gets past, but he picks up a 3-second time penalty for the corner cut there on the inside. His third warning for that one. Penalties, they're all part of this as, oh my goodness, Mark sends it on the inside on an injured Scars. You can see there the left end plate missing off of that damn car. He's on the inside though of the triple right-hander on the inside of the Prima, but the Prima Motorsport gets ahead, and it's Mark up into 6th place. He'll be happy with that one as he has both have it. They both have a penalty. Mark gets another penalty though. And they're coming in thick and fast. Neon, can he get a run on Linus up the hill into turn 1?
He was very close on last corner, not having the best exit. He doesn't have the DRS, so DRS enabled right now on lap 9. He will try the outside probably to do the switchback. We will see there's a little bit of contact. He didn't time it well there. And Linus will hold that P4 as Neon is losing more and more time with those new mediums he has to take profit of. And Brainstew really close on Coffee Saber on the SS of Sector 1 right now. The Italian very close on the back of the Carlin. I think he will try it on the back straight. It's a very easy place to do it as Richie has a penalty and Brainstew as well. And the same time, as I said, Williams as well picking another one there on the back of the grid. Brainstew preparing that overtake. He really needs it. And Neon, who's that? It's Neon. Neon spun.
There are end plates everywhere. I think that's actually just different parts of Neon's wing being collected. I don't know whether any of those end plates are from other vehicles or if it's just the debris from Neon's car. But again, Neon's magnetism for incidents continues. Coffee sipper. Well, you said it yourself, Alex. That move happening down the back straight. Pretty clear cut for Brain Stew. As Scars gets past Mark and Angel gets back past Domi. These two are fighting out the Spaniard versus the Hungarian. They are switching positions lap after lap. JA Games, he's deep through turn 12. And Williams gets through Linus. He's in the grass.
Very bad luck. He was on P4, I think. If I'm not mistaken there. He didn't pit yet. And who's there? He's there in the back. Is Williams trying the inside and he spun as well. He spun it as well. That's very bad luck for him. He drops another place with that Prema. He's down into P13. Domi, he tried it. I think he lost the place with Bakras. He takes a penalty. He has damage on that front end. I think it's due Neon's incident there on Sector 1. He loads to the pits. He's struggling a lot with the grip on the front end. Hungarian Yeps going to the pits. He had very bad luck there on that first sector after Neon spun on, of course, the exit of the SS.
Yeah, Domi said that the lack of grip here, you know, I asked you before the stream, Alex, what you thought was going to happen here, why it was a bit of a challenging second. We're seeing that unfold now. People starting to struggle as the tires get older. We haven't seen many of these drivers pit yet who started on the mediums. That's what's costing them here. Surely, you have to get onto the super softs now, take them to the end. Maybe they're concerned about tire wear, but Ace Richie, he's already done 4 laps on that purple compound. We'll see what happens through the rest of this section. Right now, we're watching back row. Look at the rear of Angel here.
And as well, suffering there the pressure of his fellow countryman there. Freeware, on the outside there on the S's. I think he will take that overtake, but Linus will try to defend. Braking really late. Freeware still on the outside. They're still side by side. A little bit of squeeze, a little bit of contact. Nothing major, and Linus will keep that P10. But still jumping into back row. It seems like he will do that overtake on Angel finally. Jumping into P6. Back row on the inside of turn 12. I think Angel... No, he doesn't have damage, so that was row pace for back row.
The amount of penalties we have seen from people picking them up on the inside of turn 12 is actually staggering. Surely, oh, JA Games just losing a bit of traction there as Linus looks around the outside at turn 14. And that unsettles JA, and you can see him there struggling for grip behind. Again, he's on fresh mediums. He got those on, you know, under the safety car. And it's unfortunate to see him here struggling for grip. He needs to make sure he can take advantage of it now. There is really a big situation unfolding for him. There are a lot of cars into the pits. They are coming in for those super soft compound tires. And here we go. How many positions do the likes of Freeware, JA, who've already pitted in this race, gain? Freeware's up into P5, and look at them. They're getting all of these drivers who didn't pit under that safety car. And Domi, he's had a problem. He's racing the wrong way. There's a lot of debris. It's the second time we've seen a car in this barrier this evening, at least. And once again, Domi struggling here in the USA. He did not sound confident coming into this event. He is definitely not going to be confident leaving it. Back row on the rear of Mark. They're fighting it out for the final podium position. The difference being Mark, he has a penalty. Back row doesn't. And that could really benefit him here in the number 22 Trident as they come now down into turn 11. Back row thinks better of that. He'll take him on the much easier move down into turn 12 with the assistance of DRS here. You can see the Prima ahead. And there is the rear wing of the Trident just popping open. And we're going to see a back row here. Just a blast past. Super, super easy. Domi spinning into the pit lane and retiring manually from the session there, bringing his high-tech back into the pits. It was ART, sorry.
Williams had a mistake there on turn 11, and Neon took that place easily. 6 seconds, even more costed, was the time costed there for Williams. Dropping into P8, still there, holding into the points, but of course he has that penalty, and I think that can cost probably 1 place at least, as Coffee Sipper with those new super soft is trying to push. He's trying to put there to catch the Prema driver. Still he has a little bit of ground there to catch after that pit stop.
Four-door sedan, Scars, they exchange. It's Scars ahead now into 11th place. You can see there for us a little bit of a correction on the steering wheel coming down into third. 13, more sliding. We are really seeing these drivers struggle. Back row Mark, they are into the pits now. That promotes Freeware into the podium spots, and it's more importantly going to put JA Games into P4. He does not have a penalty to his name right now. If he can keep his nose clean for the next 4 laps, do we see him pick up a podium? I don't know if he can. He's within the penalty range of Freeware right now. They're teammates here for the evening in the 2 high-techs. But my goodness, JA Games, he's had a podium here in F2 before. Let's see if he can get another one here. Very, very interesting. And it's been an up and down evening for him. His strategy under that safety car really working out for him. Angel on the rear of back row. It's the Charoux hunting the Trident. And let's see if this battle produces anything. Both on fresh, super soft compound tires. Angel, well, there's a 3-second time penalty for the Spaniard. Back row, he's still clean. And that is very, very important going into the end of things. Ace Ritchie, his penalty right now won't cost him anything. And even if he picked up another one, Brainstew just out of that window. Both of them up at the front of things have a 3-second time penalty. We're in the final few laps, Alex. The super softs, do you see many of these guys gaining positions, you know, apart from on each other because of the gaps between the mediums and the soft runners here?
Rich is really struggling, and now he's pitting there with those super softs. Cannot go to the end. He will put another set, I guess, of that tire, that compound. I was gonna tell you, I saw that graining there on the front left, and of course the wear on the back end of that BWT, and I think he was struggling a lot, and he knows that, and he will be pitting. Better to pit now than having a puncture later, as we saw two today on the real F1. And he really doesn't want to follow his fellow countryman Max Verstappen. But still, there is Richie on the pits. And we'll see when he rejoins, but he will be on fresh super soft. I think he will be ahead of JA Games. I'm trying to catch Freeware and probably even Reigns too.
Yeah, absolutely. He's only got a few laps to do it, though. So I think Brainstew well and truly ahead and out of reach here. The Italian 18 seconds ahead of Freeware. So I don't think he's going to be under threat from the German nor the Dutchman. Ace on those fresh super softs. Here we're seeing Scars chase down Angel into turn 1. Not close enough there to make the move, but he will be close enough now as Angel a huge slide through the first turn. And that lets the Dams straight through as they run down the hill into turn 2 and into the opening S's section of the track. He did very, very well to save that. We had a great view of it. But my goodness, that was a monumental slide. And a very scary moment for the Spaniard there. And Scars just slips past. But my oh my, that could have ended much worse for the Spaniard. The South African, though, promoted into P9. All looking for that 8th place, that pole position for the sprint race. Very, very important. Finishing 9th here is one of the worst places you can finish, Alex. You're gutting to miss out on that reverse grid.
Still, Williams has 9 seconds of penalties, so I think Scars only have 3, so he needs to be on range of 6 seconds at least. With Williams, who's now on race to really lose a place there with back row, who is trying, and I think he will try it on sector 3 right now with those super soft really working right now for back row. He tries the switchback, and it's beautiful switchback for him, easy as you like. He's up into P7, on P8 is Williams and Scars. Right now, I think he will even catch it on track, that place. Yes, he will do. He's on P8 right now. Williams having a big slide there on the exit of turn 16, I think, 15.
Yeah, certainly struggling right now. And you don't want to be, making these mistakes at this stage of the race. It is very costly, and we're seeing him. You mentioned there his penalties. That's going to cost him as well. He needs to be ahead of these drivers. Now sitting all the way back down here. He's under pressure. Angel, well, both of them have had slides in the previous lap. It's a fresh slate. Lap 14 or 16. Angel ahead, down into turn 1. Does William go for the lunge to get the position back? No, he doesn't. He knows that those super salts are faster, and it's futile to defend against them. He is down in 10th place. He'll probably finish outside the points after penalties are applied. It provided 4-door. Keeps himself on the track. Meanwhile, up at the front, Ace Ritchie is closing in on Freeware at a rapid rate. And it won't be long until we see the Dutchman really start to pile the pressure onto the German driver ahead of him. It's lap 14 though. 2.5 laps to go for these drivers. Freeware, can he hold on? It seems unlikely given the pace we saw Ace have on that first stint on the super slots. Now he's got a fresh set on and just trying to secure P2, not risking the tyres. It's been the day for tyre failure. Angel Williams. So
They spun on the exit of turn 11, yeah.
A lot
He's
of
out of the
damage
points
as
right
well.
now. Exchange between Scars and back row. What a dive from Scars there on the inside of turn 12. He has that place done. He has 3 seconds of penalty, so he'll have to clear at least 2.7 from now. 2 laps to go in a sector for him. And right now, Ace and Freeware are very close, going into the last corner of lap 14 for them. Now we're starting 15. Look at the traction for Ace. He has that place, he has that fastest lap, he has the DRS, and he has everything right now, jumping into P2. Only 3 seconds of penalty against 6 for the German. And that's really easy. Overtake right now, you can see the wear on those fronts for Freeware. He has a spin.
That is so unfortunate. It's not the first time we've seen him in that barrier this week. Had a similar problem in Tier 1. And again, it's just all crumbling down Freeware this season. It will be a season to forget, put behind him, as he has so much struggled throughout this season. He has just been in podium position after podium position, and now he might still be able to claw onto it. He's only lost an end plate there. Can JA Games, a man free of penalties, catch up to the 9-second window? He's just in it, actually. It was 6 seconds. He's just in it. If he can stay on pace with the German, his teammate for the evening, and he's actually catching ever so slightly, we'll see. It's going to be close between the two. Freeware now pulling away, but that's down the straight. He might be running a lower downforce setup than JA here, and if JA can catch through Sector 3 on the last lap to Freeware, we'll see what that can do for him. Let's see the time gained behind him. Coffee Sipper Neon, they're trying to look at having a little tussle here. Neon's been trying to catch JA, but now he's got the Dutchman behind him. His fellow countryman looking to really attack him on these super soft tires. JA, though, on for a podium, dropping off a little bit of the pace, but look at the damage on Neon's car. All of this is coming together for a very interesting last lap as JA having a huge slide. That's going to cost him big time, and that's his podium slipping through his fingers here.
Yeah, only 1 lap he has and 2 corners. Games to close that gap. It's 4 tenths at the moment between him and Freeware. Coffee Sipper knows that, and he really wants to push there to overtake Neon. He's on a fresher compound. No damage for him as well on that Carlin. He will try to get a better exit out the last corner. A little bit of slide there for Coffee Sipper. He opens DRS as well as Neon does. Right now catching the DRS window of JA Games. Seems like Freeware has get used to that damage. Neon going really wide, and Coffee Sipper will try to switch back. There's a little bit of contact there between both Dutch drivers, and as well I think Williams going into the pits, losing some places. Mark and Ford or Sedan still side by side there on the main straight, and it seems like Mark will have that place.
Very close between these two for P5 right now, just about hanging on through the opening section, and that is giving us, you know, great action here. It's giving JA a bit of time to breathe, and he's closed in to Freeware once more. It was in Sector 3 where JA lost out last time to Freeware, and fingers crossed that this controller will stop having issues with itself. Coffee Sipper now. This is the moment, surely, that he gets past Neon. Both Dutch drivers. There's been a problem for Mark further down. Neon, though, being able to defend with DRS to JA Games. He won't find the move, and neither will Coffee Sipper. Can the tires do anything with Coffee Sipper in this final section? Can JA Games find the 3/10 that he needs? He's just lost a lot of time out of turn 12 to get past Freeware. He's wide here. That opens the door. Swings it wide open for Neon to come through on the inside. And this fighting is what's going to cost JA that podium. And you can already say it has. Brainstew finished miles ahead of everyone else. Ace Ritchie finishes in second place. Here we go, though. We're still going to hold on to the battle for fourth. Freeware will cross the line in third, and he should have that position sorted out, provided that JA doesn't find a miracle 7.5 tenths through the final corner. He needs to be careful here. JA, he doesn't need to fight these guys. He could just let them all by if he wants. They've all got penalties. He just needs to cross the line, and cross the line he will. It's going to be in 7th place. He lost 3 places there, but he'll be laughing because he gets all of them back here on penalties. Back row beats both Neon and Coffee Sipper, the 2 Dutch drivers there for 5th place. Neon, it was important that he finished ahead of his fellow countryman, though. He picks up P6. Coffee Sipper gets 7th, and Scars the final point. Oh, not the final point. So the final reverse grid position goes to him. Ford Sedan Linus, they pick up the last 2 point scoring positions here in the feature race. Mark, well, I don't know if he's got the penalties to catch up. He doesn't. He finishes 11th And Williams, it's been an awful end to the race for him. He had a whole host of penalties here, but he will cross the line in 12. Angel Domi, Eric Larson, and Babatunde failing to finish here. A safety car, a lot of on-track action, a very entertaining first race. Alex, what's your take on that before we move on into the sprint race?
What an intense race we saw there on the future race of USA, but it seems like, of course, the safety car was really important on strategy. Brinstu had a gap of 18 seconds after that strategy, the best strategy I think he could done there. And of course, a lot of battles, and I'm really thrilled to see these drivers again, but on the sprint race.
Absolutely, great drive, well deserved once again for Brainstew. He was second in both races last weekend. This weekend picks up the top step of the podium. Once again, he's been up there a fair few times this season already, and he is looking to close down that gap to P1 in the standings as well, which is Maka, who isn't here today. But it's Brainstew. The Italian wins from pole. Ace Ritchie comes second on the grid with a two-stop strategy there, really playing into his hands. Freeware, JA Games, both of those drivers for the high-tech, they did the two-stop. They come from 5th to 3rd for Freeware and 11th to 4th for JA. Doesn't quite pick up driver of the day. Scars beat him to that with 16th to 8th. But a great drive nonetheless by the Brit. Back row, well, he's the first of the losers. Starts 4th, finishes 5th. Neon drops from 3rd to 6th, and Coffee Sipper drops 1 place as well. Scars, well, he'll be starting pole position after his drive, and after picking up driver of the day, he'll be very happy with that. 8 places gained. We'll see what happens here in the sprint race. If you're just tuning in, it's Misfits Racing League action here at Kota. Once again, we always like to round up the week of racing, wherever that may be, with an F2 couple of races. And of course, it's a community event, so if you want to join in events like these, be sure to join the Discord, as well as check out our amazing partners, Next Level Racing. All links can be found in the description down below. But if you're looking for a sim racing wheel stand, rig, that kind of thing, check them out on their website. They're doing great things for the sim racing community, and we're giving away one of their rigs alongside the Misfits Grand Championship. Information about that can be found on our website, misfitsrl.com. But with that being said, Alex, we got 8 seconds until the sprint race here. Take us away for the race start when we get these cars on the grid here.
Of course, Unicorn right now loading in, and you can see the lights there on the top there on your screen. 5 red lights here on USA for the final race of this week. We have there no lights there, and Coffee Sipper having a bigger start than Scars. Right now Scars covering that inside, but Coffee Sipper will try to dive on the inside of the South African. Still on the outside, the Dams driver will try it, but who is that? It's Neon, the MPB Autosport car, trying that overtake on Coffee Sipper, and he did it, and Freeware as well. Now on JA Games on the outside, JA Games is into the wall.
There has been a huge, monumental crash in through turn 1. JA Games out as well. Surprised we haven't got a full course caution yet. We might see one. It was a late call last time. We're not going to get one. All the yellow flags have been cleared, but we are through and racing. You can see there the positions gained, or positions lost in a lot of people's case here, have been quite drastic. There's more cars off. It's Babatunde off, and that's not the first time we've been saying that one this evening. He retired last time. He was the first retirement in the first race. Already the front two, Scars and Neon, breaking away. Neon up 1 place ahead of his fellow countryman, Coffee Sipper, who's now looking to lose another place. It's back row in the Trident, finding his way around the outside as they come down into turn 12. Can he get the move here? There's Freeware on the inside as well, looking to strike them both down, and he does. What a move from there. There's a bit of contact between the two, and they find themselves into the grass, both losing a whole host of positions. And oh my, this race has been very dramatic. In back row, just comes into contact with Angel. There has been absolute chaotic start here on this race start, and there goes Coffee Sipper squeezing his way back through. He is not happy with what's entailed between him and back row on the start of this one. Down into turn 12. This grid already thinning out here. JA Linus, they're fighting JA. I don't know if he's got damage from his earlier incident. It looks like he might be resting on right end plate. He is. And that is just unbelievable scenes here. The first race, you got to say, Alex, was, well, a lot cleaner than this. Four-door sedan, well, he's into the gravel trap. He's spun coming out of turn 18, and this has just been mistake after mistake for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, a lot of issues there, a lot of damage, a lot of debris. I think Angel was the one who did cause some damage, I think, to back row, if I'm not mistaken, there on last corner, as we saw the Charos driver really slow on the last apex. And we have a lot of drivers there going into turn 1. I don't know if there will be any collision, but right now it seems like one of these drivers, I think it was Coffee Sipper actually, who has damage there on the front end. And now going into the top of this grid, Brinsteve is really close in the back of Freeware, who has already a penalty from 3 seconds. So that will cost probably a podium for the German. He was saved last time on the feature race. He collected that 3rd place, but right now Brinsteve is really close, as Richie is as well. And I think this can be an overtake.
Yeah, great start for the Italian. Won the first race, looking to climb up the order here in the sprint race. He's being chased by the man who finished just behind him in that first race, though. AEST Richie there in P5 as Brainstew looks around the outside of Freeware. AEST is going to look over the switchback on the inside, and he gets them both. Maybe he's on the outside of Freeware here as they come through turn 13. Can he find a way around the German as he goes on the inside down into 15? And what a move from the Dutchman in the BWT Race Lab car. He secures P3 from P5 all in a matter of corners. Great run from AEST Richie there to find his way up into the podium slots very early on in the race. Brainstew would be disappointed that he didn't do exactly that. He was looking to lead Brainstew through on Freeware. Hasn't been the case. The Italian fails to overtake here, but he does lose out to AEST Richie, as does Freeware. Very, very good stuff from the Dutchman. We'll see what entails throughout the rest of this race as Brainstew climbs the hill. Freeware defends the inside of turn 1. Brainstew, he doesn't care. He's going to look for it around the outside. Coffee Sipper 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane, but it's the Italian gets through on the inside of turn 2. And what a move. He can now go back and fight Ace for yet another race, a win potentially if they keep going at this rate. But Neon there, he had a bit of misfortune in that first race. He's already up into P2, having finished strong in that first race. Alex, there's a lot of fast drivers here fighting out for a race win.
Richie almost having a snap there on the exit of 8 and 9. Now Richie has a lot of gap there on the back. Well, almost a second there as Brinstey was really, really close on the driver. Freeware braking late, almost touching there the gearbox of the Italian. It won't be enough there to try and overtake on turn 11. We'll see on turn 12 as they have DRS already. Both drivers on Richie, who's on P3. And we'll see if Freeware can catch. Doesn't seem like it will be enough for an overtake, as I said before, in the Italian driver. Freeware has a penalty as well there. It's 3 seconds for him, as I think he has as well a couple of warnings there to collect 6 seconds on a brief moment. We will see, because Freeware right now it seems like he's struggling a little bit on pace. And what a move from Richie, what a move from Richie as well on the exit of turn 1.
Absolutely, it's been some really great racing from these two over the course of both races. This one a little bit quieter than the first race we saw. The early incidents we've had in this race have really sort of spread the field and reduced the amount of battling that we're seeing in this one. Larson on the rear of Williams. Can we see a move here? As there's a yellow flag ahead of them, that will impede any overtaking here. Yeah, Angel there, you can see him on the inside there. It looks like he's AI at the moment. We'll look back up at the front one.
Well, he's spun again. No, he's not the AI, it's him. Having another issue, almost collecting J games there on the back. I don't think he has probably connection issues or probably some, well, with the controller, I mean.
Well, here comes Williams at the inside of Larson. He's got damage though, so not able to find a way past. Both drivers here look to be missing an end plate, I think, on opposite sides, but
this battle for 6th Championship is very, very close. Eric will try it on the S's on Domi. A little bit of contact there was, but nothing major, nothing. John Saltel the car, Eric really going wide on the exit of turn 8. Backrow will take that as an open door, and of course he will take that. He is right now trying to catch the DRS of Domi, and I think he will have it there on the exit of turn 11, probably even catching the Hungarian there. I don't know if he has any part of damage there on front and that ART, but his back row opening DRS. Domi trying to break the slipstream. Still the Trident driver there on the back of Domi, fighting for that P6.
Brainstew looking for a way past Ace. We'll go back to Backrow and Domi. They're not finding any way through here as they come into Sector 3. We'll see what happens between them all. But racing very much back on the menu. We were seeing a bit of a spaced out grid from the start of the race. A bit of a lock-up for Domi. Does that allow Backrow to find a way through? He doesn't. He actually has to avoid in the Trident as a four-door. Angel there. Exchange coming out of turn 11. Not going down into turn 12, but actually coming out of the corner that leads you onto this back straight. You can see there Angel looking for a way back into the slipstream. Can he get away past here down into turn 12. It looks like he might be able to. Moving on the Campos racing car up the inside through turn 12. The Campos, though, having a much better exit than Fordor, defends up the inside through 13, and a brilliant move to hold on to 13th position there. Very nicely done from him. Moving back on to Bakro and Domi. They're coming through turn 1. Nothing doing there on this race. Starting to emulate the action we saw in the first race a little bit more now. And things are really starting to heat up here. It has been an action-packed evening so far, and some great racing here at Kota, Alex.
Yeah, we haven't talked that much about Cars right now leading, and he's really keeping that gap between him and Neon. Tier 2 driver against a Tier 1 driver, and he's still there, even increasing the gap, I would say, there with second place. Brain's still right now in the RS zone. He will try to open, he will open that rear wing, but it's not enough to catch Richie, who seems like he has a lot of straight line speed, or at least good enough to keep the Italian behind him. Ooh, Brain's still really close on the braking point of turn 12. But still, as I said, not enough. It's not enough still, and we're on lap 5 out of 11. It's still 6 laps to the end.
Yeah, no safety car, no VSC to speak of. We did have some incidents in that first lap of the race. As Domi, that's a big mistake for him, and that allows Bakro to straight past. We saw him have a problem through the previous lap in Sector 3. Caused Bakro to just have to avoid there. This time, though, the Trident gets well and truly past, and he moves past Domi. And Bakro now up into 6th place, down 2 from where he started this race. But he won't do disappointing. He's getting back past into the fighting position. You can see Domi there. Big slide coming out of the penultimate corner. Angel, Fordor, they exchange once more. The Spaniard, when he's got deep, where's he gone? He smiles off into the runoff there. Luckily for him, there's these big tarmac runoffs, big painted areas that don't slow your car down, don't really punish those mistakes. As Costi some other tracks, there's a massive lunge, and the Spaniard locks up, just about gets that car turned around. And that is some impressive knowledge of where the track goes in order to know that you can get enough speed out of that tight angle that he took through there. He must have practiced that one. That's a very aggressive snap from him, though. And that is into the wall for the Spaniard. He is really trying to extract just a little bit too much on that F2 car. He has got a lot of pace. Maybe a bit too much pace, though. It cannot be handled by the slower, less downforce F2 car. Maybe in an F1 car, he'd have been more successful here this evening. But in the F2, he is really struggling. Speeds into the pit lane. And it looks like that is going to be it for Angel. And it is. Race over for the Spaniard once again. And Babatunde's out. Well, that is also in the pit lane, it would seem. It's the last race he crashed. This race, he retires in the pit lane.
Yeah, now Brinsteel still trying to catch Ace Richie. Neon, it seems like he has lost a little bit of pace, and Richie and Brinsteel both catching the MP Motorsport driver on P2. He doesn't have penalties, so still penalties can be a factor to really play with. Oh, Neon almost really having to catch that back end, really sliding on second to last corner. It seems like a lot of drivers really struggling on that section of the track rather than sector 1, probably sector 3 more difficult there to manage. Ace right now on DRS as he settles the fastest lap of this race, putting to his name 2 points if I'm not mistaken there for the total points of the weekend. Right now Brinsteel losing traction, and it seems like he probably even can lose the DRS with both Dutch.
Well, Erica, the other Uni Virtuosi, he's doing some celebratory donuts in the final corner before the end of the race, and he's going to get passed now by Larsen as they run up to turn 1. Eric with a bit of a spin through the final corner, late on the brakes into the first corner. Can Larsen find a way back past? And he can. It's side by side here as they come down into turn 2, and Eric trying with all his might to hold on to P9. It isn't successful, though, and he does lose out. But a great run to try and defend that position from Larsen there. Neither of these guys in the points. But they can push, of course, for them.
Oh, Eric around again. He lost the back end on braking as well as Angel did. And as well as he did, it seems like in the last corner. So doesn't seem like he's getting used to that car on this track. Very difficult to really manage. Of course, this F2 on this track. J Games, I think, having an exchange with Williams as well on turn 8. And Williams picking a 3-second time penalty. So that's not really good, as Ace is really close on the back of Neon.
And Neon, I don't know if he's got damage. He doesn't. He's just been losing out so much pace over the course of the last few laps and really struggling here against his friend and fellow Dutchman, Ace Ritchie here. 4P2, Brainstew are hungry here. They need to be careful. They don't battle too much, otherwise that Italian is going to be hot on their heels and start picking up the pieces of a fight. But here they go up into turn 1. It's lap 8 now of 11. Not too long to go for these drivers and to get onto this podium. Scar still holding off about a 2-second lead right now. They're gaining on him a little bit. Tires starting to drop off, and whoever's managed them the best, they're going to start feeling the benefits, reaping the rewards that their careful throttle control, etc., has been rewarding them with. There's a problem for someone.
I think it's Mark.
It is indeed.
Yeah,
He's got
Mark.
that car back turned around.
Now Brain's really close on the back of Ritchie, but it's again the same story we have seen. I think all this race, this 8 laps of this sprint race, but we'll see not the better traction there for the Italian to have that move done. We'll see if Ace Ritchie can really make that move with the DRS on. Eric Quintero calling it into the pits. Not a very good weekend for him, and either for Babatunde or Angel right now. Rojas retired, and Ace Ritchie on the inside of turn 12. Neon will take the switch back there, but it is really wide, and Brinstey will take that place, almost hitting there, I think, the side pod of the Italian, and Brinstey really looking at that, and right now he loses the back end. Ace is still very close. He will try it there on the inside of 15. Very typical corner to do that, and he's forcing wide the Italian. Actually, it's a big squeeze there from the Dutch driver to Brinstey. He's sliding, he's drifting all the corner, and he's around.
Excellent way to get it spun back around, gets it to the 360. Mark retires as well. Freeware finds his way past Ace, and I told you, if these two fight too much, Brain's just going to pick up the pieces, and pick up the pieces he does. Gets up into P3, on for his second podium of the weekend, his 4th in a row here, I do believe, in Formula 2. He got on the podium both times last week in Japan. It was 2 P2s. Now he's looking to try and get a first and a second here, because he's still got time to overtake Neon here. They don't have the pressure of Ace now, and that means that the driver in front of Brainstream now doesn't have DRS on the car in front. Neon, 2.1 seconds. That battle there alone cost him about 4/10 to Scars, who's been just controlling this race since the start. Finished P8 in the last race after starting 16th. This time he started first. He can't go anywhere but down, and he hasn't. He has just been on a mission this evening, and overtaking, well, in the first race was his priority. This time it's just going for raw, flat-out speed, and he's done that very well. That lack of battling has enabled him to just manage his tires, stay on the pace up at the front, and it's working beautifully. Now, Brains to the Italian. He's got DRS on Neon. He won't get close enough, I don't think, for a move down into turn 12. But what he does have is a great opportunity to just reel Neon in, put himself all over the rearview mirrors of that MP Motorsport car. Yellow flag. Domi's out. Domi's crashed out of turn 11. Does that spawn a late safety car? I think it's too late in the session to do so. Linus should have a view of this, and there it is, off on the inside. Brainstew closing in on Neon. We're going to go back to that before we miss out on some of the action here. Can Brainstew get a run down into turn 1? Maybe. We'll see. He seems to have a little bit more pace than Neon, but that is aided, of course, by the DRS here in the closing stages, and this has been just such great racing between the pair of these two, as well as Ace before he had that unfortunate incident that dropped it to P5. But here we go, coming out of the final corner. Let's see what they've got in store for us as they go down the start-finish straight to climb the hill into turn 1.
So yeah, really having the pace, and I thought he was going to try the move there on turn 15, as we saw on Ritchie, Ace Ritchie trying on him the lap before, and he was very close to do it. Actually, Neon didn't defend that, and well, I think that was he missed their one shot to do it. Right now, Brinster still very close on the SS. Of course, the here, and look, the penalty is there for the Italian. Oh no, that's gonna cost a lot. Well, of course, 3 seconds, and we'll see if Neon takes the same mistake, but I don't think he will try. He will have the pressure there, as Brinster has had that penalty. He only needs to keep it there clean to the finish line. And right now, Neon, it seems like he will, well, retain that second place.
Yeah, absolutely. He would have to, like you said, make the same mistake that Brainstew did and pick up that penalty in a similar fashion. Brainstew, though, well, he's an experienced driver. He knows that he can put Neon under pressure here, try and force the mistake from the Dutchman. Maybe force him wide at some point. Try and get him to stick all 4 wheels over the white line. We've seen it there a couple times through turn 12. The people have picked up warnings. JA Games, Williams, they're exchanging down in sector 1. Williams with a massive corner cut, just completely ignoring turn 4 there. But he is ahead as we go back. And it's Braidstew on the inside of Neon through turn 15. Can he get it done? No, he can't. He's going to find his way to the wall. And the Italian takes off an end plate, and it is race over for him. He will not be on the podium, and he might even still lose to Ace Ritchie, who has kept his nose clean. And it might be a double Dutch podium. Second and third could be taken by those 2 drivers from the Netherlands, as Brainstew and Freeware both have a penalty ahead of him. Let's see what Ace Ritchie's got in the tank, but Brainstew, a flawless first race. Now it's not happening again. Lightning does not strike twice here in the USA, it would seem, and Brainstew not able to get to back-to-back race wins, and maybe even not back-to-back podiums. For a man who's hunting that F2 World Drivers' Champion, this has not been the way to do it on the penultimate lap. Now onto the final lap.
He almost had that overtake done, of course. I don't think he was going to overtake. Well, of course, on track he was going to overtake Neon, but I don't think he was going to chain that after the penalty he had. And he has still on his name. Freeware as well, having the same amount of penalties, 3 seconds for each other. And Ace Ritchie just there to. Oh, well, never mind. He has a 3-second time penalty as well.
Well, there we go. Podium virtually back on for Brainstew. This would allow him a great opportunity. JA Games not able to find a way past Williams, not getting the run he needs out of the final corner. Bit of a slide there for him in Lucas Giotto's high tech, but here it goes down into turn 1. Probably too far back from the SMP to do anything. And indeed he is, but pushing now, seeing what he can do. And it's not to be. Back up to the fight for P3, and you know, Brainstew still holding on to that position. He does have damage on his car. I think Freeware's clean. Freeware doesn't have any damage, but not able to find a way past the Italian.
He has put full throttle and go to the wall. I don't know what he's doing. He's gone just into the wall.
Well, that's a mistake and a half there for the Dutchman. But one man who hasn't made a mistake is Scars. What a drive from the South African here.
Oh, and he takes fastest lap as well, so that's 2 points. We'll see if someone can collect it. Neon takes second, Brinsty will take third, Freeware will take fourth, and Ritchie, it probably seems like he will take 5th place after that damage collected on last lap, unfortunately, but he will be there on P5. I don't know if the penalties will send him back. Ooh. 1/10 is between Ace and back row. Linus, it seems like will take some points here. We'll see the penalties. It's 3 seconds as well as Larsen. So it seems like he will keep those points.
Great stuff here from a lot of the drivers. Some action-packed rounds of Kota. Larsen, he said he's going to come home in P8. JA Games, Williams, well, they're still fighting on this last lap. Around the outside is JA Games, and he looks straight on the inside into the penultimate corner. Doesn't find it. Williams still ahead here. I don't know whether this can be decided on track or whether penalties will play a role, but JA Games lunging on the inside into the final corner. Can he find a way past? Yes, he can. He's not ahead, though, as they cross the line, but he will win on penalties, it would seem. And JA Games, I don't know whether he had to do that move or not, finds P9. Williams lags back there quite substantially in 10th place. Remember, that's out of the points, so neither one will score. Only the top 8 score, as Ford also has a huge slide, spins it across the line. He needs to make sure he gets across the checkered flag before Coffee Sipper catches him. Not been the greatest race for the Dutchman here. And, well, he'll be disappointed with how this one's gone. He started second. He will finish 12th, but done well here to finish the race. He's going to do some donuts. He knows he's lost on track. He knows we're all waiting for him. Does a 360 and then crosses the line. Nicely done from Coffee Sipper. And we'll see what the results are like over the weekend. But overall, some great races here in Kota. And it has been a great stream. It has been thoroughly enjoyable. Larsen picks up driver of the day here. Let's see what the results are like after, of course, the podium celebration. And for this man right here, he didn't put a foot wrong all race from pole to first place. Utterly immaculate drive from Scars in the dams. And celebrations are definitely in order for the South African. He picked up that fastest up as well. And Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone stole it from him. So picking up on the last lap. What a way to do it. What a way to end out the weekend for him.
He had the fastest lap by exactly
Oh, no.
1/10.
Eh?
I think.
Well-
No, sorry, Bristol had as well on the same was on the same 10th. So it was only 400, if I'm not mistaken, there between Scar's fastest lap and Bristol's fastest lap. So that's 17 points for him on the sprint race.
Yeah, looking at the weekend results overall, though, it's 39 points for Brainstew, and that's good news for him in his campaign to try and take away P1 in the standings. And with 39 points added to his tally, that is actually enough to put him ahead of Mecha. So he is now the championship leader. Ace Richie in P2 overall in the weekend, 3 points ahead of Freeware, who finishes 2 points ahead of Scars. Neon comes home in P5 ahead of Back Row. JA Games 7th after his 4th place in the feature race, gets him 12 points. Coffee Sipper on half of that total, 6 points for him from the feature. 3 points for Linus, scoring in both races. Fordor picks up 2 points from the feature race, and Larsen picks up a singular point for finishing 8th place in the sprint race there. He's the only other driver to score points. Williams, Domi, Eric, Mark, Babatunde, and Angel, the other drivers, all failing to score a point here for Formula 2 action. But that just about wraps things up here. It wraps up not only the Formula 2 broadcast, but this week as a whole for the United States Grand Prix. It's been an excellent race. Alex, any thoughts before we close out the stream?
Yeah, we have seen on the tracks that they're not usually run there on the F2 calendar. That it can be an amazing action. We saw that on Suzuka. We have seen this again on USA, and I think on Brazil and probably Mexico even as well, which are not normally on the calendar. I think we can see a lot of good racing. So be sure to check, of course, all the information about MRL, and be sure you will not miss the next race.
Yeah, absolutely. The week begins on Tuesday for us here at MRL. Mexico action will take off on Tuesday, where we have a whole host of action, 3 races, and the first of which will be the Tier 3 race over on the Twitch channel, which we'll see Alex again in the commentary booth, joined by, of course, Stryfium for Tier 3 around Mexico, the first of many races there. So make sure you're following the Twitch channel to be notified when we go live. If you're not following on the Twitch, you'll be notified as well in the Discord. So make sure you're there to take part in events like this one. Obviously, the Formula 2 is a community race, but we run a lot of community races that aren't streamed. So be sure to check out the Discord for an awesome group of racers. And of course, thank you to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, wheel stand, or motion sim, check them out on their website in the link down in the description below. And we're giving away one of their rigs in partnership with the Misfits Grand Championship. So if you want to try and win that, be sure to check out all the details on our website, misfitsrl.com, for details about the Grand Championship, which you get extra entries into the giveaway if you partake in. 80 drivers. It's going to be quite an exciting few weeks when that kicks off. But with that being said, obviously we're on YouTube here for the F2. We can't raid anyone, but of course we will hit you with the outro. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.
We are back. We are back with some Tier 1 action.
Oh, and that is the AlphaTauri of Adrian straight head on into the Red Bull. And the Kai Bacchini has joined the party, and he's on these medium compound tires in the Merc. Is very late braking from the Ferrari. He locks up and he blocks Zamis. And who is that? That is Jean with a fantastic exit, and he is going to get ahead of both of them here. So I believe it's crossing the line now, checkered flag. Adam and Bajarin, the first 2 to catch it early. Vettel now rounding the final 2 turns of 22 and 23 here in Singapore. The racing points collect the 1-2. Battery, there goes Ben the Bear now just ahead, taking the checkered flag, coming through the Casio triangle. It's still wheel to wheel between these two. Mick out with a great traction. Oh, what a run out of the chicane, and he gets it done. How's the exit for the Ferrari? Good so far. You can see wheel to wheel coming down the straight into turn 4. It's the Ferrari leading through. Ben, wheel to wheel now with Revo, and he has so much pace in this racing point right now. It's wheel to wheel between these two. How's somebody gonna go? He's drifted off. Does the exit? What an exit out of the Williams. Does he get him? There's a big snap. Looking on the inside of 8 and 9. It's the Mercedes coming around the outside of 9. Does he get this move done on Tim? This is huge. This is absolutely massive. A drag race coming through 10 now, down into 11. Here we go, and Zamis has the popcorn.
So Yukio tries to turn in, and Domi just says,
Oh, the stars!
Just for a second.
What a move from the stars! That is the Renault of Van Putten up the inside of the Williams into turn 1. Freeway's gonna get Yoda! Freeway's gonna get Yoda!
Yoda wins the race!